So a judge has ruled that Prince Philip's will shall remain sealed for 90 years. For 90 years, we can't know what's in that will. I want to know what's in that will. I mean, it's got to be something really, really juicy. Whatever it is, it's good. I'm telling you, that is the stuff that fairy tales are made of. Or melodrama. Either way, I want to see what's in that will. And whatever it is, I want Shonda Rhimes to go into production with it immediately because it's got to be something really good. As a matter of fact, they said that the reason why the will shall remain sealed is to maintain the dignity and the standing of the Queen. Now, that lets you know right there, just those words will open up the Queen for all kind of speculations about the relationship between the Queen and Prince Philip. Now, Prince Philip obviously has had something else going on besides management of all of the royal households. Oh, he managed the households all right. I mean, is that code for something else? He managed to do something, and whatever it was, they don't want us to know about it. I'm telling you, I love the crown, but the crown kind of falls short. I want more of the juicy gossip with the Crown's productions. To me, they have made the royal family far too endearing. I want more of the juicy details because what they're giving us so far is just not enough. I really want them to go there, and they just won't do it. To maintain the dignity and the standing of the Queen. What in the world could be in those papers? I tell you, this is one of those days where the weird news is coming fast and furious. Thomas Markle, the love child of Aunt Bee from the Andy Griffith Show, and Otis the Wino from that same Andy Griffith Show, that Thomas Markle, who is obviously their love child. I mean, just take a look at him. He's flapping his big mouth again about the wedding, that he was obviously set up so that he would help to disrupt the wedding.
And of course the photographs were a setup. I was set up by a guy named Jeff Rayner and another guy named Dylan Howard, who was with American Media, I think. And the whole thing was a plan to actually mess up the wedding. I was just part of it. Basically,
however they paid you to do it, but somehow you have managed to put yourself front and center in this whole saga of the royal family, the tabloids, and the wedding. Again and again, you have made yourself front and center. On occasion, popping up on British television, and then you pop up again on the Australian television, where they seem to love you down in there in Australia. I mean, think about it. Dylan Howard, Jeff Rayner, those names just keep popping up, right along with Jason Knopf. I mean, those names just keep popping up. What in the world did you think was going to happen? Thomas Markle plays this bumbling fool in front of the cameras, but believe me, this guy is just as slick as they come. Thomas Markle has managed to put himself front and center time and time again. And he's working with some very shady people. And being in the business as long as he's been in the business of entertainment, he knows a rat when he sees one. But yet, again and again, he finds himself right into bed with them. Whether it's some rat from down in Dixie that flew all the way out there to try to help orchestrate this, or whether it's anybody else, he knows a rat when he sees one. And yet, he keeps getting into bed with them. At that point, you don't look like you're being set up. You look like a co-conspirator. I just have to ask myself again and again, what is it about the relationship between the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex that have triggered these people? If it's not racism, then what is it? If you can't say it's racism that has fueled all of this, then what is it? On one side, you have the Markle family who just cannot seem to stop talking, and they're making money. And then on the other hand, you have the very dignified Raglan family. So Australian television, Channel 7, decided to issue an on-air apology after Thomas Markle made unfounded allegations during a live interview. Well, duh. 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 What did you think were going to happen if you kept putting this idiot on television? You keep putting this love child of Aunt B and Otis the Wino on television, and now you're surprised that he has gone off the rails. And did you notice that Thomas Markle had to look over at a sheet of paper because someone has decided to, you can tell from these interviews, it just allegedly seems as though that they are feeding him lines over and over again. And it would be interesting if he wasn't such a terrible actor. If I can quote Betty Davis, he was terrible. He's terrible. There's no plausibility to it whatsoever. It's all very contrived. But yet people who have this want and need to hate the Sussexes, they just take a big spoon and they just put the whole spoonful in their mouth and they don't even think about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's got to be the truth. After all, it's on television. It has to be the truth. After all, it's on the social media. But the truth is, this is some really bad acting. Just horrible acting. But yet, Thomas Markle, again and again, is invited to come on these television shows. On American TV, there's only reactions to Thomas Markle. Now, I can't wait until they, finally decide that this guy is just a loose cannon, and so we won't be able to use him again. Do you think that'll happen? No way. Because Thomas Markle helps feed the soap opera. And this entire thing has just become the most ridiculous soap opera. But the only good that comes out of it is that instead of diminishing the stature of the Sussexes, you're only making them stronger by the day. You are only making them stronger by the day. But at some point, it is going to reach this point of exhaustion where it's just not going to be interesting anymore, and that day cannot come too soon. Meanwhile, the Sussexes are continuing to work very hard, and they are hopefully able to ignore this stuff. The good news is that they have a very talented team that works with them, and also they have some very powerful friends that can help navigate through all this nonsense. But at some point, this constant bullying that's coming from the tabloid media, their day of reckoning shall come, and they are either going to collapse from the inside out, which seems like this is kind of what's happening right now. This house of cards is coming down, but it's just a matter of how long shall it take. Not soon enough for me, but, one thing about them is that they'll just keep coming back. The Jason Knopf is just like a Jason in the horror movies. Just when you think he's down, just when you think you've seen the last of him, he just gets right back up again. Well, I don't know if he has finally removed himself from that life or not, because I don't know that he's done anything so provocative lately. But there's always the next villain and the next villain in this saga. But one thing that seems to kind of make a difference is that the Sussexes seem to have some very powerful lawyers. They have some lawyers that you just don't find them in the Yellow Pages lawyers. Another thing that has been kind of bothering me here lately is that I think people are just way too preoccupied with Piers Morgan. This is much to do about nothing. The Fox News network does not have much credibility these days. You know, this idea that Piers Morgan is going to start this whole new offensive, now he can really stalk the Duchess of Sussex. We don't like bullies in the U.S. I'll tell you that right now. We really don't like bullies. Now, for one fleeting moment, people looked the other way and they elected a bully for president. And, you know, at some point, you can kind of see that a lot of people are very embarrassed because of their support for the bully in chief. I think that a lot of people have waken up from that. And so the same bullying tactic was supposed to overturn the governor of California. You see why I'm saying this is not 2016 anymore. This is 2021. And people's eyes are open. So Piers Morgan seems to want to have this platform in the U.S. But remember, just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he was still trying to get his job back in Britain. And even though they had this big campaign to get him back on British television, for some reason it just did not work out because the demographics does not support it. And those same demographics exist in the universe here in the U.S. It's not going to support Piers Morgan. Now, the ratings boost and bonanza that they are hoping to achieve is by making all this fanfare about the fact that he's going on U.S. television. Well, that's a lot of trouble to go through just so that only people who believe the election was stolen and that January 6th was just a big misunderstanding, if those are the people that support you, you know what? You could have them. You can have them. We're not interested. So you guys don't worry about Piers Morgan. He's a lot of hot air. And the one thing that I could ever give Robert Jobson credit for is the fact that Robert Jobson said very loud and very clear when asked about Piers Morgan. He said that I've been knowing him for 30 years and Piers Morgan has had this innate talent for making everything about himself. And that is his talent. And it's the same thing that Candace Owens is trying to do. You have to pick these public fights with people and you have to ride their coattails because alone you don't really have anything. The only thing you have is making other people angry. Again, we've had somebody monetize that type of existence all the way to the White House, but it gets old. It gets very old, and the only way you can stay on top is to try to find something new to make people angry and afraid of. This whole setup with Australian television it's like that axis of evil that I spoke about, where you have the right-wingers in the U.S., and you have the right-wingers in Great Britain, and then you have the right-wingers in Australia. It's like this axis of evil, where you have the what's really feeding it, though, comes from the United Kingdom, which is really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because, as I said, I have some great memories from the United Kingdom, and it breaks my heart to see that this is happening. But that is where it was feeding. The tentacles seem to come from Great Britain. It seems to come from Great Britain, which in the light of day doesn't look so great now. You know, the United Kingdom has so much to offer the world, but at the same time, you have to consider that these are the same people that are defending, well, I won't say they're defending, but they seem to give a certain amount of aid and comfort to Andrew. If they were to report on Andrew with the same ferocity, and believe me, there's an interest there, but the interest is being suppressed, and the scapegoats are the Sussexes. What kind of family is this? I don't care what the circumstances are, or constitutional, or sovereignty. I don't care what it is. What kind of family does this? What kind of family would sacrifice their own, one of their sons, would sacrifice one of their sons just to save face? But this conversation with Thomas Markle, discussing his role, how he was recruited to wreak havoc for his own daughter, this is all over Twitter. This is all over Twitter. And just think, yesterday we were trying to defend the Sussexes for taking those very beautiful photos for the Time 100 most influential people list. That's what we were doing. We were defending the Sussexes. And today we have this revelation from Thomas Markle, the love child. Okay, I'm not going to say that's Aunt B and Otis's love child again. But Aunt B and Otis's love child has put himself front and center yet again. Like this tweet right here says, Thomas Markle is finally spilling the beans and naming names. Jason Knopf, Prince William's chief of staff, Dylan Howard, TMZ, and Jeff Rayner, Harvey Weinstein. What else? Thomas Markle now realizes that Kensington Royals' Jason Knopf was using him to thwart Harry and Meghan's wedding. Now he realizes it. Come on, you guys, please. Now he realizes it, like a acorn fell out of the tree and hit him in the head, and suddenly he realizes. Come on, you guys. I have to say this again. For you guys that are not on the Twitter, I wish you would get on the Twitter. Because this is just one of those days where I just scroll and scroll, and when I think I've seen it all, something else pops up. So Prince William has decided that he wants to help save the environment. This is Air Miles Willie. Now, Prince William is constantly flying helicopters, small jets, and an assortment of other means, of course, the train. And then let's not forget that time that they flew an empty commercial aircraft that could carry who knows how many passengers. They flew the plane to pick up the Cambridges only so that they could have a photo op of them getting on this commercial jet, which happened to be empty. So they spent more money. They spent more money. That is, the airline spent more money flying this jet to pick up the Cambridges empty, and then flying it nearly empty to another location just so that they could try to make the Sussexes look bad. Not the airline, but the Cambridges. But of course, most people won't hear about it because the whole point of it was they wanted to embarrass the Sussexes by showing, yes, the royal family takes commercial aircraft. Well, from what I hear, Prince Andrew has practically never flown commercial. Now, believe me, I'm not the one trying to help out Prince William, but this guy really needs to get some new PR people. I mean, the opening of the video to promote this new scheme of his, he's typing with two fingers which is supposed to make him seem, I guess, friendly and approachable and loving and laughable. This is William. This is incandescent with rage. William, that's not working. This whole thing of the Earthshot campaign and him typing with the two fingers, I don't know what in the world that was supposed to prove. You know, that he's like this lovable buffoon. Well, he is a buffoon. But lovable? I'm not picking that up yet. I don't feel that right now. He's never been that person. This is not a good fit for him. This is supposed to be his competition, I guess, for Harry's, juggling outside of the window, which of course was absolutely adorable. No matter what he does, I think if I was him, I would keep my head kind of tilted back a little bit. Just keep tilting your head back. And then you won't look like the alien. This is just, it's not working. All I see is skin and more skin and more skin. I mean, it just seems to be no end to the top of his head. William has like the sequoia of cranial mass. There's just no end to it. It's like when you look up at one of those sequoia trees and they just seem to go on up forever. That's how his head is. In every picture they have they have to crop his head. I mean, otherwise it would just go on forever. I mean, let's be honest. It's not just that he suffering from male pattern baldness. That happens to a lot of people. The thing is, he's just got a big head. I mean, he's got this unusually large head. I'm sorry, but it's true. I mean, I would never want him. I would never want him to headbutt me. That's all I'm saying. Because he's got this massively large head. Now, there's this one publicity photo of him that they use all the time. Well, the tabloids decided to be kind to him, and he has his head tilted back. They should use that all the time, because I'm telling you, this guy's head is the stuff of nightmares. I mean, if he headbutts you, if his head touches you anywhere, you're through. You're just through. I mean, could you imagine, like, if he just rams his head at you and you have no place to go? Or let's say he misses and he puts like a hole in like a masonry block wall. After that, run. Because I'm telling you, this man has some serious, massive cranial space up there above his neck. I mean, it's just, it's frightening. It's the stuff of nightmares. So when he dresses up in his palace guard uniform, the big bearskin hats. I mean, Stanley Tucci. I think Stanley Tucci is like one of the most handsome guys that has male pattern baldness out there. So it's not a matter of the hair loss itself. That's not a big deal. But for William, it's just the mass of his head is shocking. It just takes your breath away. I never see it, and I never look at it, and I'm just like, it never looks normal to me. It looks William. It's not normal, it's William. So if you find yourself shocked by it every time you see it, remember, it's not you, it's William. That's it for now. Please like, subscribe, share, donate, etc. If you would like to make a donation and you don't know how, to help support this channel, you can go to the comments section where you can find links to the Patreon, the PayPal, and the Cash App. Thanks for watching Royal Sussex.